Hold on.
What's up, baby? Hello, everybody. This is Bill Force. This is Real Talk Chronicles. Happy Monday. This is the third Monday of the month.
You can come over and sit here if you want to. We can play.
This is Real Talk Chronicles with
my
want. Host, Alyson.
I was talking. I'm sorry. That was on me. I was.
That's all right. Everybody, just happy Monday. The weather's playing tricks with us. It's raining. It's not raining. Whatever it is. But, this is about a celebration. First and foremost, I definitely wanted to talk to Alyson about an epic Thursday that we had the pleasure of being in. Yes, absolutely. It's a somber Monday too because of the Buffalo shooting and another shooting, and we'll discuss that. But I will definitely get into that Wednesday. I will talk about it with Alyson, of course, tonight. But I wanted to talk about how beautiful her birthday celebration was, and with the sponsors, the Daily Arts magazine, Reggie Wells, quality speakers. Shout out to Reggie Wells. I was talking to him. Shout out to the Deadly. Yep. Shout out to hold on. This computer's acting funny with me today. Soft Illusions Art Gallery. Shout out to Melba Wilson, Leon Ellis, Chocolat, and Harlem Underground. And with that being said, let's just talk about Alyson. What's going on? How are you?
I'm well, Bill. I just want to comment on your backdrop and your centering and everything. It's so wonderful. I can really see you, and you're right.
Shout out to everybody in the building. I see my man Antoine Wesley's in the building. What's up, family? Colin is in the building. Vera,
Jacob. We celebrated Colin too.
Yes, definitely Colin. Shout out to Jacob Ingram in the building. Deadly Arts had a event this weekend. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, Jake, because I had people in town, so I had to kind of entertain them. But I promise, of course, I'll be at the next one. But the next issue coming up is with Wesley Snipes on the Deadly Arts of Survival magazine. Listen, it's Black business. It's on Amazon. Also, Ingram Taxes too. Jacob always put the information in. Those are the sponsors. We rock for each other. We are our brother's keeper and sister's keeper. And with that being said, hey, Diane, what's going on? Jacob, hey, my brother, it's okay. You were there in spirit. Absolutely, man. Dave Shepard's in the building. Sorry I missed your birthday, Allie Cat. Colin, welcome to the 61 Club, Allie. So listen, we all know we definitely want to talk about the shootings. We'll get into that. And like I said, everybody tune in Wednesday. I'm going in Wednesday. I'm going hard on this. Like I said, but I want to talk about Alyson because it was such a celebration of life Thursday at the Sugar Bar. And I want to find out, how's it feel? First and foremost, happy belated. Happy birthday to everybody. This is my father's birthday today. So,
happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Dad, in heaven, Daddy Foster.
Exactly. So some people get somber when they have a lot of death in a certain month or certain things remind them of certain things. I, on the other hand, have chosen to make May a celebratory month because I have so many close friends that are born in May, and my parents are born in May. And so instead of me being somber and mad about it and upset and depressed, I celebrate May more than that.
And I'm glad to hear that, Bill, because I feel like that too. And I used to feel like something was wrong with me because people would be like, oh, today's my mother's birthday, or today's my parents' anniversary, or today, and they'd be sad. And I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it because everybody handles grief in different ways. But as the years have gone by, I always say it's never easy, but it gets easier. You and your mom was May 11th. I'm May 11th. So we celebrated that together. Yeah. Your dad's born in May, and two Taurians together are the best thing I can think about. So I'm just saying, how else could they have, what else could have come forth but you?
Exactly. Two Taurians made a Capricorn. God damn.
That's the bomb degree. So I'm just saying, but that's how I look at it. I can't bring my mama or my daddy back. And on any given day, not just their birthday or their death date, I, I can turn into a puddle of mud, and just get to crying myself in because of missing them or wishing they were there, or something will make me, or I can smell something. Anything can trigger, my emotions about my parents. But I find that on the days that are commemorative in their honor, the day they died or the day they were born or whatever, I feel happy on that day because I start thinking about all the good stuff. And I start thinking about, Lord Jesus, how Shirley was, or, how Bobby was. And I'm okay with it. And I know I can't do anything about it. So I stop putting that weight on me, because I can't fix it. I can't do anything. And I've been believing in this thing for so long as a Christian-based faith person, that you'll see your loved ones on the other side, and there's a heaven, and it's better. And my Father has many mansions. And if you keep telling me this, and I'm going with this storyline, then stop being sad and just wait. It's gonna be my turn. I'm not here forever. I get it. Even for my own mortality, I know I'm not here for the long haul.
And with that being said, I really want to ask you, since we're talking a celebratory thing, like I said, everybody, we're gonna, before we leave, we'll definitely discuss Buffalo and certain situations like that. But right now, this is more, to me, a celebration of life, and we're going to talk about life. So, Allie, because I'm celebrating my parents, and you're celebrating your parents and yourself from what you went through. So that's why it was so important for me.
Well, yeah, this was a real important birthday.
Yes.
For those who do not know, and those who do know, I had a very rocky start to the new year. I had a pause, as I call it, a comma. Some people know it as a coma. And we went on the ventilator and rode the big V. We dealt with COVID, and its interaction with diabetes and diabetes ketoacidosis. And I was very fortunate to come out of that situation and still be who I have always thought I was. I'm still singing, I'm still speaking, I'm still talking and walking and singing, and my health is good. And I'm thankful for everybody that prayed and sent well wishes and good vibes and just lifted me up, because it's a testimony. It tells people that prayer does change things. Prayer does make a difference. People coming together on one accord, in one mind, unified together. It makes a difference, and I'm that.
Yeah, you are.
I am that.
Yeah, you are a testament of what prayer and all those things
and
mean.
all those things coming together. And so, we got together. It was my champagne birthday. What's a champagne birthday, Alyson? Champagne birthday is when your birth date, the year you were born, coincides with the year that your age year. So I was born in 1961, and I am now 61 years old. So I get to celebrate, and they say you're supposed to do it up. I mean, really like a wedding reception type of party, black tie, boom shakalaka. And for me, it was going home to the sugar bar and being with my friends and my family and my extended family and supporters and fans and all that. And we got together, and when I tell you, they showed up, and they came and they sang their best song the best way that, everybody just brought it and really made me feel good. It was overwhelming. The gifts, the flowers, the cake, the balloons. It was a party. We had a party. And
yes, we did.
Funny because after the party was over and I began to see the things that people posted, and I began to, hear the stories. Y'all had a party, and there's certain parts I don't even know about because I was hosting that night.
Yes.
So yes. I was in the host chair, doing the facilitating the hosting duties. Every once in a while, I try to run upstairs or to the cat lounge, to the alley cat lounge, or run to the garden, and or go back to the bar and at the sugar bar, and just try to check on people and touch them and look them in the face and be present for my birthday party. But when I tell you, after hearing, or looking at it, overall, I see that it really was an epic party. I'm so glad I was a part of it. and I'm glad because this is what, and people always say, oh no, Alyson, don't say that. But this was the birthday that could have not been. or almost
Yes.
what didn't happen.
And for those that
Almost never was, and I'm okay with that. I own that. We're not here for a finite amount of time, but apparently I have some more time on the clock. And God said, go on back and do what I've got set up for you to do, and I'll see you a little bit later. And so
yeah,
I'm happy for that, and I'm
yeah,
glad for that. I'm grateful for that.
and it's a beautiful thing. Jacob said, "I thought you were 30 years old, Miss Williamson."
You
Black don't.
did? Good God, you
That's
delusional
it.
child. I don't know if I'd go back to 30, but thank you for the compliment. Because if
That's
this
what's
is
up.
what 61 looks like, I
Yeah,
suggest you sign up.
yeah. And listen, let me tell you something. We get better with age. We become
Yes, we
wise.
do.
As I tell people right now, we are seasoned. We are seasoned
Yes.
because maturity. Think about this. If we know what we know now, if we knew it when we was younger, how many doors we might have not went through? How many people we may have not talked to? How many people we may have not even dealt with in our lives? I always tell people and I'm just referencing to Malika. I always tell people, yeah, I kissed a lot of frogs, and I thought they were going to turn to princesses, but they didn't. You know what I'm saying? But time did it. But I understand at this age in my life when I did get married, it was the right choice and the right
The
time.
right choice, the right person at the right
Yeah.
time. And we have to go through certain things. I've been telling people as I give them my take on what it is that I went through is that sometimes it's not only, oh, the devil is a liar and he thought he had you and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes God will sit you down.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to go through what it is you go through to get to where you're trying to go to. You have to, if it made everybody come into one place and pray, if it made everybody come onto one accord, be on one mindset and what have you, if all of that happened, I know there's some instances where people called each other, people who had stopped talking to one another for one reason or another, or people who had stopped communicating with someone and they didn't remember why. They just kind of lost track. They began to start saying, I'm going to call you again. Or let's drop this, whatever it is that we're holding on to. Or I'm going to check on people more. Or I hope people check on me more. I'm gonna go to my doctor and get some more appointments set up so I can know what's going on, be proactive. So all of these things coming together, if this is what I had to go through in order to make this happen, not just for me, but for all those around me, then so be it. That's what it was. I believe that there's something bigger and better that's coming that I need to be focused on. I need to be healthy, well, and really, on point for. I was, Bill, in the past, I've always had what they call the Alyson Williams birthday crawl. And the crawl would be wherever I was for the birthday week. It was at the Red Rooster, come to the Red Rooster on Sunday. If it was at Arthur's, come to Arthur's on Wednesday. If it was at Sugar Bar, come to Sugar Bar on Thursday, and then meet me back at Arthur's on Saturday with, whatever. Because all we needed was live music, good people, maybe a little food, some good strong drinks, a balloon and a cake. And we had a party. And I was bringing half of that. And then, we do what we did. So now the crawl has now gone from club to club in New York City to state. So I started off in Raleigh on the 11th. I went to see the opening of Forever Plaid, and it was directed by Stephanie Pope and Lacey Phillips, who are two very good friends of mine, actresses, dancers, and choreographers and directors, and they put up this play in Raleigh at the Raleigh Theater. And so since they were so close to me, I hadn't seen anybody in 1,000 years because of COVID, I took the trip and went up to see that on opening night, which was my birthday. And it was great to see your friends doing what they do. We all started at Dance Theater Harlem together. We were honing our craft, learning our craft, and now we're directing. People are calling them to direct and to choreograph and to set, mount these plays and mount these shows. So I did that. Then I came to New York and obviously did the Sugar Bar and hosted. And I left New York and came to DC, and I did an event with a dear friend of mine, Val Knight, and her company, WMW and the Epiphany Collection. And they were merging with another organization, and they had a private event, and they hired myself and Silver Logan Sharp to perform, and it was wonderful. And then on Sunday, I chartered a yacht. I like saying chartered a yacht. Not rented a boat, but I chartered a yacht. And we went out on the Potomac with about 8 folks. And I tell you, the most beautiful thing was I had held off all week long because of the weather. I was following the weather, and we thought it was going to just be a downpour. But I took a chance, and I said, I'm going to take a chance with Mother Nature, and I'm going to pray for favor. And we had a perfect day. We did have a light sprinkle, but nothing to speak about. We had warm sunshine. We had partly cloudy, and the clouds were beautiful. And then we had that little sprinkle, and that went away. And before you knew it, we had a double rainbow over the whole, from beginning to end. We could see the whole thing, and it was a double rainbow. And then that led to a sunset. And as we were coming in, we had a lightning show, like far off in the distance. The lightning was going, but it wasn't raining. But it was like 80 degrees. It was incredible. And the thing that we came off the boat with is we were scared of the rain the whole week. We were scared of the rain. Without the rain, there are no rainbows. And that's how life is. Without the downtime, there is no celebration. We got to have rain if we want to have rainbows. And I'm in my rainbow right now. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through something to get to where I am now. So I hope everybody who's watching and everybody who's listening remembers. Don't get a trip to Jamaica and be mad because it rained. Because it couldn't have been lush and beautiful like it is if it hadn't had rain. If you don't have rain, you can't have rainbows. You're still in paradise. We were
real talk, quite kept. Some people might have been born on rain and cold. Like, I can't get mad at cold. I was born in January, so I embrace that. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
So all of those things, we continue the statewide Alyson Williams birthday crawl on tomorrow. We're going to Detroit to spend some time with Miss Pat Turner, Miss Black Patty, if you really know her. Knick-Knack Paddywhack in Detroit. We're coming your way. Then we're heading. Oh,
you want to see Miss Patty?
Yeah, I'm going to see Miss Patty. You got to meet Miss Patty. Oh my God, that's right. We got to get to all of that. Then I'm going to Atlanta, and for those of you who will be in the Atlanta area around next weekend, I'll be with Marcus Johnson at the City Winery doing some stuff. And that just came from a hey, how you doing? What's up? But God is good. You know, He can turn anything into anything. So that's a good little look that's going to happen. Then I'm gonna go home and sit my butt down for 2 weeks.
Well, and good. 2 weeks is good in business standpoint.
Yeah.
That means you get some rest, but you back out. Amir said, shout out to Amir. Amir, if you want to, I definitely, and anybody, Wednesday, we definitely, like I said, I'm going hard body on Buffalo and stuff and the other shootings. And we're going to talk about a whole plethora of things, gun violence and stuff. And so Amir, if you want to chime in Wednesday, holler at your boy. And I just want to read what he says, and other people are saying hi to you. Amir said you were destined to have that birthday. Your energy and spirit pours into many. Shout out to everybody that's just chiming in, that's watching. Appreciate you all. I'm saying, Stefania said, talk about blessings on top of blessings. People are saying hi. Shout out to my man Eric Floss, another legendary promoter from New York City. He celebrated his birthday, another Torian. Shout out to you. Yep, that's right. Oh, that's right. Miss Butler, she's a Torian too. That's right, Torian season. So I got love for my Torians. I listen.
Hey, Bill, did you see Colin's jacket? Did you see the ensemble?
Yo, listen. He was killing it. He was killing it. Looking smooth is new money. You know what I'm saying, Colin? Shout out to our boy Colin.
Colin always shows up. He'll know what's happening, where it is, what time to be there. And before I remember the first time Colin cut his dreads off, I didn't know who it was. And he just showed up, and he's very quiet and unassuming, and he stands in the corner and he just waits for you to discover him. I just love him for that. When they called the Torians and said, everybody come to the stage, we're going to blow out some candles and sing happy birthday, here came Colin. And when Colin hit the light, it was like, well, damn, Colin, is it your party? It's like, he was so done.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like, oh, he knew it was Torian Day, and he knew to show up. And I'm so glad, Colin, you came.
He came ready.
Shared that day with me, shared that night with me, because that's where you were supposed to be. You know, I met Colin through a friend of mine, our brother that we love from the Sugar Bar, and from, if you really know, from all over the country, Mr. Andre Smith. Now, Andre was my brother, and Andre would find me and have become my friend Colin. He's having this, having that. And Colin would always have these great parties. He's always lived in beautiful locations, brownstones, and he would come and have me stand on his staircase and sing happy birthday. You know, I was his celebrity or whatever. So I always thought Colin was in show business. Come to find out he wasn't. He was just surrounded by the entire show business community. And
No, I
it's been like that
tease him
forever.
about that all the time. I said, Collins, all the people I met at your house, you know, I mean, and the connection, that's when, you know, good people have good energy, because I met Collins via you. And for those that don't know, when my mother passed away, Alyson took me right under her wing. And this is why Real Talk will never be without Alyson. It may be without a lot of other people, but it won't be without Alyson. If you don't see Alyson, it's because she's going on to something and she doesn't have the time. But it'll never be because Alyson is not part of Real Talk, because she is part of Real Talk. And she took me to Colin's house, just like you took me to Valerie and Nick Ashford Simpson. Rest in peace, Nick. And I want to talk about the little duet that you and Val did, which was
Oh,
crazy.
I call that our number. That's our
It
number.
is.
We do Miss Silly's Blues from The Color Purple, y'all.
Yes.
And me and Miss Val, we tear the house down every time we do it.
Yeah. And it was phenomenal to see her. Let me tell you something. She sings like she was singing when they were just starting out. I mean, and I want to talk about that with you. Shout out to everybody that's watching. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host. This is Real Talk with Alyson Williams. We're talking about celebration of life this time. We're definitely going to talk, like I said, Wednesday. I'm concentrating on the Buffalo stuff. I just want to shout out, Floss. Also, when I do my Legends in Promotion, I'm coming at you because I need you to talk. Shout out to Cheryl. I see you in the building. Princetta, I see you in the building. Shout out to everybody that's in. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to it. If you're on Facebook, share it. I want to talk about how many times have you really sang? Because let me tell you something, from what you went through and to see you perform, it really didn't look like you missed a damn beat. Your voice was impeccable. You were just rocking. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, you and Val was doing the thing. So, I mean, how did it feel to? I mean, maybe I know maybe might have performed before that. You can tell us, but how did it really feel to be on that stage and control?
Well, let me just explain it like this. If you go through what I've been through, there's only parts of it that you can really speak into. I was in a coma, Bill, which means I was deep sleep. So all I know is what happened when I come out. I come out on the 1st of, I go under on the 26th of December. I come out on the 1st of January. And then I spent a few days trying to figure out what's real, what I've experienced, finding my ground, being with my eyes open and breathing and looking around, and I'm in the ICU. So once I come back to, okay, I understand what happened. I understand, okay, I'm connecting the dots. I then have the journey in front of me of recovery. What I realized was I had some challenges. I had physical therapy, I had speech therapy, and all of these things, which are still ongoing. But my miracle is I have nothing that I didn't have to worry about anything when it came to my throat, my voice. Never did I ever think, where's my voice? Can I sing? I knew at first I didn't have any volume. That's how it is when you come out the hospital. You have no power. I was very, weak and kind of, just here, kind of here. But I knew it would come back. Nothing in my spirit said, oh my God, can I sing? And I started to sing a little bit in the house. Lady, and it was there, and I looked for high notes. High notes weren't there at first, but never at any point. And you have to understand, it was concerning to me because going in, I never had a chance to tell a doctor or a nurse in the triage, please be careful. I do this for a living. This is my gift. This is my livelihood. Please sticking stuff down my throat, through my nose, anything. Just be ginger. Can't nobody sneeze. Can't nobody flinch. Y'all can't. Don't cut, no trach holes, whatever. Go.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to explain what I need or don't need.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to do that because I lost consciousness. So thank God that He kept my gift intact. When I began to sing, my first my first time singing with a band and with a real sound system was when I went to visit. I think I mentioned on one of the shows, I went to visit Najee up at the Berks Jazz Festival. I was visiting Najee and Gregory Porter, and Najee invited me to come and perform. And he said, "Just come on and do a song." And it was him, and he had Bobby Lyles, the great pianist Bobby Lyles, and Chris Walker, incredible instrumentalist and singer. And so to have that group of musicians, and Kevin Robinson, it's just a great group of musicians, world-class musicians, world-class sound system at a world-class festival. The first time I opened my mouth on a mic since December.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I hadn't heard myself, and I didn't know what was there. So it was a little emotional. It was a little scary because when I look at the tape, I see myself. I was singing My Funny Valentine, which ironically is one of the first songs I ever learned to sing as a child. And I remember hearing myself go, "My funny," and I did something with the note that sounds like that's what I meant to do, but what it really was, it was me coming to the realization of that's what you sound like. It's okay. You're hearing it, and these people in the audience are hearing it for the first time too. It was kind of like I was, I was taken aback, but I was able to save it. Nobody kind of knew what was going on. It just sounded like, oh, she felt like turning that note that way. And but really, it was that lump in your throat where you want to cry.
Yeah, absolutely. But and also too, I'm sure your testimony can go as long as a year or as long as you want, and to tell people, say, listen, where I just came from, I'm here giving you what I got.
And I was saying that to somebody the other day. I was saying to somebody 5 months ago, I wasn't breathing or doing anything on my own. So for me to be able to do whatever, blah, 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 I think I was talking to someone Saturday, and I was telling them something that we were going through, I think with the DJ, what the tracks were, because I was singing through his system, and something came up, and I said, "Sweetie, 5 months ago, I couldn't say the words out of my mouth or see what I'm seeing. So it's okay. We're gonna make it work. Whatever glitch in the matrix we're facing right now, this is nothing." Because 5 months ago. Now, what I was saying to the other person, I said, 5 months from now or 7 months from now. Oh, well, no, yeah, 5. I will be saying it's a year since what my dilemma was. And look at all the places I will have walked, God willing, in the next 6 months, the next 7 months, till next January.
And
I'll be celebrating 1 year since I went under.
Yeah, so because you have multiple celebrations, just for all those out here that we have lost people for whatever reasons, natural causes, or this pandemic. The bottom line is now, Alyson, you got a celebration date. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I gotta make it to now 1 more year, and thank God for the opportunity to do so. Because like I said, with all the stuff that's been going on, to have the opportunity to hear myself, come back to myself. Then I went and did the thing with the shout out to Vanessa Jordan and Stuart Bastone with the National R&B Music Society. We did that, and that was my music, my Mistress of Ceremonies situation. I do that every year, and I did that with Bowleg Lou and Melissa Morgan and Stuart and Maurice the Voice Watts. We did that. Then from there, I had 2 weeks. 2 weeks again. Then we went up to Albany for the I Love My Artist Foundation.
Yes.
We did that music fest, the Soul Jazz Fest. That was the second time I heard myself sing. You know what I'm saying? Really go ahead and do more than one song. So that was when I was able to understand what's your endurance level like, what's your breathing rate like, how does it feel when you come off stage, how does it feel when you're on stage. I couldn't know any of those things until I was in the situation. So then I came home and had another 2 weeks until I came to New York. Now, being back in New York for my birthday, this was my first time back at the Sugar Bar, my home, and actually the place where I got sick. Not to put anything negative on the Sugar Bar, but we had an event and people got sick that particular week. And that was just before Christmas. They shut down for Christmas, did all the protocol things again, because they have one of the establishments that have stayed up and running throughout the pandemic and were able to, sustain by having carry out food and so on and so forth, and following all the rules and regulations and the protocols. They've been able to open little by little by little by little. There was a private event. And so for me, that was like, okay, here I am back at ground zero. But no fear. A few days later, where we are here now, I'm fine. But it was just one of those things. It took me 2 years of rolling the dice, going back and forth when I could, if I could, to come up sick. And I'm an inoculated person. So it was actually between the diabetes, which is the underlying condition, and the COVID. They tell you, science says that's not a good combination. So yes, I'm here to tell you it's not. But being back at the Sugar Pop and having the opportunity to be around my friends, family, extended family, musicians, fans, supporters, whoever, it was just the best ever. And I'm thankful for everybody who came. I want to touch a little bit too on just how sometimes life puts you through different things, but like you said, without or like I said, that without the rain, we can't have rainbows. When I fell ill, there wasn't anyone specifically in a point. How can I put it? What are those people that you go to when you want something signed and they have to?
Yes, you're talking about a benefit, not a beneficiary. Are you talking about executives? Like somebody.
There was nobody in executive. Yeah, there was nobody power of attorney, executive, or anyone. There's nobody on paper that's supposed to take care of me. I'm remiss in procrastinating. I'm in the process of it, and I've been in the process of it. But then I moved, and there was a pandemic, and I moved in the middle of the pandemic, and blah blah blah. But it's so important that we take care of that. I say all that to get to the point that they were looking for someone who was an actual relative. And I have a sister that people don't know.
I met her. I was
people do know. People who know me from a certain part of my life, from a kid, know me, or through my school friends. Shout out to the All Saints crew who was in the house. They know Verna, but a lot of people don't know my sister. And for a long time, my sister and I weren't not speaking. We just didn't have a relationship.
What it is, real talk. You can say what it is.
We wasn't dealing in a relationship. We had it, then we didn't have it, then it got ugly, and then mommy died, and then it got ugly, and then it got good, and then it got ugly. And it is what it is. Everybody has a certain dysfunction in their situation. But when they asked, and someone was able to find out, shout out to Terry Miller and her family, who were able to contact someone who was a family member on my sister's father's side. And that's how Verna found out I was ill, and she stepped up to the plate with no animosity, nothing, no drama, no nothing, and said, y'all needed to know who her sister was or who her family was. I'm her brother. I'm her blood relative. I'm her sister. Yeah. Following that, after I got well, she began to call and check on me every other day. We began to talk every other week, which is the weirdest thing ever, because we hadn't talked in 100,000 years. But I was just glad to be able to have a conversation with my sister. And then when this came up, I invited my sister to come and celebrate my birthday, and we had a great time. And I hadn't seen her for years. So every time I looked across the room, I just said, why so much wasted time? What was it about? What was it about? But then I got okay with it. And if you look at the pictures, you just see I have black all under my eyes from crying all night long for so many tears of joy. And so if there's anybody out there that's listening or can see and hear and are watching, if you have beef or drama or whatever with your siblings, fix it. Just find a way to fix it. Because at the end of the day, it just becomes wasted time, and you can't even remember why it is that you had it, or the reason. Even if you can remember why you had it, it don't matter that much. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. That's all I can keep saying. So if you can fix it and you find a way, I think it was God and my mother had a meeting, and she said, listen, I need you to put these two together, and while you're doing whatever it is you're doing, God, make them come back together. And there she was.
That's a beautiful moment, because everybody, that's a real talk moment. And that's how we started off, from the transitioning of my mother And let me tell you something. I appreciate her telling this story because the bottom line is, when my father passed away, when my grandmother passed away, I didn't speak to my family for 18 years. So that's why my friends became my family. Now, when that tier of family passed away, my father and his siblings, the cousins, Marilyn, Dr. Corder, and all of us, we kind of took a path and united the family. So I understand when you talk about family and not family, and I had to go through my own stuff because being detached and being in New York and all my family in the DMV area, I had to let them know, like, listen, I haven't been in my life for a long time. They figured it out, but this is how we galvanized and got back together. So it was a pleasure for me to meet your sister when she was talking to Terry and Terry introduced us. It was also a pleasure that when you were sick and you touched on the point of not having an executive or a power of attorney or who can make the decisions for you, that I was part of that group of people that we were conversing with. And that's how I got to speak to Pat, Miss Pat from Detroit and other people. And, it was just a beautiful thing. So that's why Malika and I, we had to be there Thursday to rock out with you, to see you. And that was the first time I've seen you in years since this pandemic.
Right, because you
after
moved,
that,
I moved, and we just hadn't had a chance to see each other. And what's so funny, and I want the listeners to know this and the viewers, Malika and Bill are a power couple. Thank you. They ride or die for each other and with each other. And when it comes to people that care about them, Malika and Bill, they treat I think they have a room they go in and they turn into superhero costumes. They change costumes and they can fly or drive real fast. It's really amazing because when they were at the club, you could tell, even though we were having a good time and we were glad, they were looking at me like, if you need anything, let me know because we got you.
Got you.
One time.
Need me to kick somebody's ass tonight? I'm good. I can move. I'm feeling good. If you need hugs, listen.
Tachi, they are ready to break out into kung fu at any moment, and they really love me. They're like, what? Listen, what? And it's a funny story. One of our stories. We finished last month with Real Talk, and we were just talking behind the scenes before we canceled our video screen time. And I had a friend come over. And meanwhile, I'm just talking, and the girl that's my friend comes into the house, and Malika and Bill see this person pass me.
Oh, yo, we was like, yo,
I'm by myself at home. I never said, hold on, let me go answer the door. I'm talking, and I let my friend in. They don't know. And the girl just kind of passes like I know what you did last summer kind of moment.
Yo, we was like, yo, who the
Before
hell is
you knew it, Malika
and
Bill were in the screen together. Like, do we need to call the police
and
make them go to her house? Does she know somebody's in the house with her?
Yo, hold on for a second. I got my Italian brother in the building, and you and him and my mother are born on the same day. Shout out to my man Carmine. That's my guy.
Hey, Carmine.
So happy birthday to Carmine. The 11s are all around me. I appreciate my man Carmine.
Very powerful number, 11. And Carmine, I hope you're celebrating all month long, not just on the 11th. We take it to the 31st.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, Carmine is my brother, bro. I ride with him. He has a beautiful daughter. We talk about his daughter all the time, my niece. And shout out to everybody that's chiming in. I see you, Earl Majet, in the building. Princess Pinky, my cousin, is in the building. Everybody's giving you your flowers out, Alyson.
Thank you.
Shamika, what's up? Chris is in the building. TJ, Curtis is in the building. I want to, and I'm glad you talked about your sister and stuff like that. And I'm glad that's because that's the effervescence of what Real Talk is about, how we come together and tell. Oh yeah, and Miss Butler, she's a Taurian too, so she's giving you the love. My sister's in the building. She said that's right. That's the Taurus way. Shout out to her and her husband, my guy Ty. They're both Taurians and stuff. Carlton England's in the building. Carlton TNT. Much love, Alyson. So people are definitely giving the flowers. If you're watching it from YouTube, please subscribe to it. If you're watching on Facebook, share it. This is about Alyson. This is a celebration of life, and I wanted her to have her flowers all the time. But the thing is, we just celebrated her birthday, so this is why this segment is so dedicated to that conversation. So with that being said, and saying all of that, and for those that don't know, Alyson is the first lady of Def Jam. If you don't know her famous song, Just Call My Name, YouTube it, Google, do whatever. I like what you just been doing recently. You've been throwing up some past photos of your first photo shoots and stuff like that, and you know, you was going down memory lane. What was the meaning of that?
Well, you know, when I put it all together, you know, thinking about, you know, like you said, how did I feel hearing myself? What did it feel like coming back to singing? What's the process of being back on stage, and how I can sustain and feel like I can put on a show and get back to work? That's how I make my living. If anything was different, you know, it was going to be a problem. So I'm glad to say there are none, as we can see right now. But just around the top of the end of April, somebody, I don't know who, started something called the first headshot challenge. So all of my gypsies, tramps, and thieves, the gypsy family, musicians and dancers and actresses and stuff, we started putting up our first headsets. And most of us, if we're from New York, had the opportunity to go to a company called Craigman. And Craigman did all the headshots for everybody in the business, big people, new people, whatever. And so I didn't have my pictures done at Craigman, but I did put up my first pictures, my first headshot, then my second headshot. And then I think I found a flyer from Sweetwater's that had what the third headshot was. By that time, I had been signed to Def Jam. And what I had said in one of my posts was, I think, even though it won't be a part of the first headshot challenge, I'm going to continue to put up, you know, throwback pictures because it was my birthday season. So you see me in the hats, and you see me from Soul Train. Something that really happened wonderful was that Legacy, Snoop Dogg, and Russell Simmons put up a clip from me at Showtime at the Apollo. For those of you who remember Showtime at the Apollo when it was a television series, I got a chance to perform on Showtime at the Apollo and promote my music. The singles were Just My Luck and Just Call My Name. And I had a really, really rough day that day. It was a great place to be. It's always, I think, some of the best things, like they say, pressure produces.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so all of the things that I look at where I've had issues that you wish would not have come to surface in that moment, but they made it oh so great. So the day that I had to tape the Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo, shout out to Ray Chu and the crew and the band and all my singers and that whole network of great performers that joined me. There was a lot going on behind the scenes. My makeup artist was in place, Danny Irby, but my hair person, who was also Danny's roommate, he was ill and he was dying of AIDS. And I'm a person that believes you have to continue to work with people. He was still able to show up to work. He did not work as fast. He did not work, you know, maybe there were some things that, you know, might not have gotten by him before, but we were always able to make it work. But I was not going to throw him in the trash because he was ill. Right. So all of that was going on. Some things happened with the Apollo where when we took a dinner break after the sound check, came back and they said, okay, you got to go on first because blah, blah. I was like, no, you can't put me on first. You told me I was second and I had the 2 songs to do. That's how we all, you know, got together and said, how long we're going to take for a dinner break. Now I got to rush. So that was going on. They had changed their scheduling. There's nothing we can do about it. You got to be ready in 15 minutes. You know, it's like that. And then I was dating a maniac, and you know, maniacs in your life are maniacs.
They'll stress you out.
Huh?
They'll stress you out. They'll stress you out.
I mean, you think you're in love, and then you're like, oh, and
yeah,
all that.
Yeah.
So I had all of that going on. But when you look at the Apollo performance of Just Call My Name, and Just My Luck as well, but specifically, I'll take it from my angel, Valerie Simpson. When you look at that performance, she says it is a master class. And I will implore you all to go and look it up on Uncle Rush. It's just the 2 clips where I slide down the wall and kick off the shoes and all that, but Just Call My Name from beginning to end, and the audience participation in it. I mean, every tier, the orchestra and 2 mezzanines and balcony on their feet. It was such an incredible performance. And it's hard for me to say anything was incredible with me. I'm a hard critic on myself. But when I look at that, I know there was a certain point where I was no longer in control of it. So that's where the celestial choreography came in, and that's where, but how it became that master class. That's how it became that, damn, look at her. Lettucey posted something like, I want to be like this chick when I grow up, not missing a beat. Look at her turning it out, just carrying on. And that's, you know what I'm saying? And it went viral.
Yes. Let me interject for a second. I tell you the story all the time. We was in front of the Apollo that night.
Oh yeah, Russell. My biggest fan.
Russell. We arguing with Russell, my cousin, and some other guys in the industry, and Russell swore up and down. He argued us adamantly, vehemently, that he was like, yo, Alyson stage show is better than Patti LaBelle. Like he was like, yo, I say this, and this is no disrespect to the Queen Patti LaBelle, but he was just going at us, and we was like, what? Because we were just under the assumption that, you know, Patti flying and you know, she was already more established than you. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, now I am Russell. I tell anybody in a minute, if you haven't seen Alyson's stage show, then you really haven't seen an artist, because the bottom line is, it's one thing to have an iconic song. Shout out to Reggie Bullock in the building. Alyson, I told you, I got to definitely hook you and Reggie up. He's the one that did the documentary with Michael Sledge. Listen, that interview that Reggie and I did on YouTube with Michael Sledge is phenomenal. Reggie, listen, if you want your story done, we're going to send you to Reggie, because his resume is, and he said, Just Call My Name is an all-time classic. Shout out to Tremel is a builder. He says, when you become famous, how did family and friends treat you? That's a question he has for you, Alyson. So hold that thought. Okay. That's what he said. Carlton said Alyson came to the castle back in the early 90s.
Whoa.
And it was sold out. Wow, exactly. Lincoln Sesson says, shout out to Lincoln. If you haven't seen the interview I did with Lincoln and Legendary Promoters, I did it with him, Melvin Francis, and Sam Tuga. It was a phenomenal interview. That's on YouTube.
Hi, Lincoln. Hey, listen, Lincoln will tell the story. When I was young coming up, I was an intern for whatever it was he was doing. He was always a promoter, and he had me stuffing envelopes and delivering flyers, and I was doing it because I was learning. That end of the business, and so that's how far we go back. You know, that's how far we go back.
And shout out to Lincoln, because I definitely learned my craft from watching him and doing his thing. So I appreciate Lincoln all the time, and always want to give him his flowers. So let's go. Shout out to my man Tremel. Tremel, I got to get you on the show real soon, brother. Let me ask you a question. Reggie says, when you became famous, how did family and friends treat you? I'm gonna let you rock with that for a minute, Allie.
I think when we first started hearing my music in the mainstream, first of all, my friends would call me because my friends had jobs, and they would be up in the morning, and they would be listening to what you call morning drive, and they would hear the songs, and they get excited, and they call me, and it would be great that they call me, but I would be asleep, so I would kind of be a little bit perturbed, but I was glad to be able to hear the song on the radio. But that's how it was. Secondly, they would treat me no different than they ever treated me. We would, get together and go places, because I was always, I think, hustling so hard. And there was a certain crew that would come and hang out with me, and certain ones, my ride or die girls, Leslie Murphy, Carolyn, Monique, they would come out all the time or be with me, different places where I go, and just, hanging, how do you put it? There's a cliffhanger kind of existence, when you know how to play the role to get backstage, or you got to meet this one, or you never know what's going to happen. And they were all part of that. So sometimes they just be like, I can't believe we're standing here with her doing this, because we don't even know if we're going to make it, but they hung in. We had some great times. Nobody ever treated me any differently. They were always very proud. And of course, they wanted to show me off to other people, but they still, like, if you're going outside, can you take the garbage? It's fine. Carry some bags. This weekend, I had to carry bags, because it was like we need to utilize you, Miss Williams. Snap out of it, and that's what we did.
Well, the beautiful thing about I know about you.
Huh?
That's about what you. The one thing I know about you is that you're as you've been around with so many different people, we're going to talk about that. You have a new single on Nige's album too, right?
I do. I want to get to that.
No, we're going to be able to hold that. But the one thing I know about you, and I learned this, and I had to tell somebody when we were discussing when you were sick, and we were just discussing certain things. You have so many different people in your life, and people always say I'm so popular, but until you're a person like Alyson, a Red Alert, and people like that, Uncle Ralph. And I go back to Uncle Ralph because I wanted to talk about that story. One time we were on a Zoom together, all of us, and you said to people, Happy New Year. So Uncle Ralph said, Alyson, it's like 6 months later. He said, yo, Ralph, when you in a coma, it's always a Happy New Year.
Right. It was like, I think it was in April. He was like, it's already April or March, and you still saying Happy Birthday. I said, listen, 3 months ago, I couldn't say Happy New Year. I know I came back on New Year's. I didn't even know it was a New Year. So I'm gonna say New Year's all the way through till next New Year's. Thank you.
You'll say it until you get tired of saying this shit.
Every time. And I'm gonna tell you, this was what was funny. My mother used to have a thing when I started living out of state. We had the house out in Amityville. When I came to New York, of course, I go home. And then when I was caring for her, I moved back. And so she might have somebody come into the house to do work, like a plumber or a roofman or whatever. And, they always say, oh, ma'am, you have such a lovely home and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's my daughter. And I would be just normal. I'd be just, and she's a singer and she's a recording artist. You might know her name. And so, they finished their work. And then I'd see her take one of my headshots in a frame and show them and say, this is what she usually looks like. And I would get so mad at her because I was like, Mommy, this man came here to do his job, fix the plumbing, do the electricity, get on the roof. If it don't matter to him what I look like or who I am or whatever. And if he likes me more because you showed him the pretty picture, fine. But other than that, please stop doing that. I'm just me. And I'm just, but she was so proud and she wanted people to know. And some people would know, they were like, oh, for real, that's your daughter. I know her music. But to me, it was kind of like, or the kids from next door would come when I would come in town, and those were her make-believe grandchildren because I didn't have kids, and she loved those kids next door to her like her grandchildren. And so we'd be sitting and I'd be telling them stories. I was out with Mary J. Blige, and I was on tour with Mia and Genuine, and the kids would get excited, and somehow she would find a way to go. And I had a boom box that I would take out onto the patio or onto the floor. And she would slide the boom box out there like I was going to start singing and doing a show for the kids. It was so funny.
Yeah,
because she wouldn't come out and put it out there. She'd slide it out the door just with her arm and put it on the table and then leave. She was like, Mommy, what are you doing? Stop trying to make a concert.
Yo, listen, memories are a beautiful thing. And
oh my God, if I could just have one more time for my mother to slide the boombox out on the patio, you have no idea. But we can't have that moment anymore. But it used to drive me crazy because she was always on this campaign to show somebody that this is her daughter and that her daughter was great. And
let me say something. Parents will show you how proud they are of you. Like I would always laugh. My father, whatever job I did, my father would tell somebody would come and tell me, but they say, oh, I saw you. I didn't know you was doing this job. I was like, they was like,
oh,
I'd be like, oh shit. And then listen, my father told more people. To this day, my father has told more people that I was a police officer than I told people, because he was just like, yo, my son is this and that. If I made a team or anything or I did this, let me tell you something. He was letting you know. So there's nothing like a parent's love. And for the people out there that are parents now, I'm sure you understand exactly what Alyson and I are talking about. Shout out to the phenomenal photographer, Irving Patton. I want to make sure I pronounce his last name right, or Payton. He's a phenomenal photographer. He is part of the Patton, right? Irving is my guy right now. Once we met via Red Alert, because for those that don't know, he's been in photography for 100 years, and I say that with love, not with no disrespect. And him and Red Alert had the exhibit at Port Authority, and it was phenomenal. I got down there and I got to meet him, and we've been rocking ever since. And he's just a phenomenal guy. And Irvin, one day I'm gonna have to get you on the show because you are just a great brother, and I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate the love that you show me, and vice versa. And anything we can do, we're gonna give each other our flowers together, man. So that's what's up. And Lincoln said, he said, Bill, my regards to the Rush sister, Alyson. Absolutely, Irvin. Yes, And then Lincoln said, he says, Alyson, I remember that you were always been outstanding. And for those that don't know Alyson, let me just say this: to be affiliated with so many artists, because to be a person that has supposedly, and this is real talk, have maybe one outstanding song, even though you're an artist and you have albums. Let me tell you something. What's the last album that you had that I loved? You had some cuts with Tony Terry on it and some songs. I love that album.
It's About Time. Yeah.
Oh shit. People need to hear that shit, because that was like that. Like if there was 12 tracks on that shit, 8 of them to me was like bangers. But what's so funny, and that's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about that in the industry aspect, because the bottom line is there's so many good work, but this is why you will always work. And that's why, like you said, you hanging out with Nige and Greg Port, Gregory Porter, and listen, if y'all haven't seen those artists, shame on you, because there are certain artists that you need to see perform to understand what real showmanship
is.
Artistry is. Absolutely. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think, Ali, that situation, if I can even use this terminology, was a blessing in disguise, because your industry family, your family, All Saints family, your Harlem family, just people around the world galvanized and came together and was like, we forming a love prayer, a prayer for Alyson Williams, and we gonna bring her back and shit. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Michelle? I see you in the building. She said, Alyson, you look good. Michelle Segu, say cool. I'll start butchering people's names up. I'm sorry, everybody.
Hey, listen, Bill. I want to interrupt you and let everybody know this is Real Talk Chronicles with your host Bill Foster and his co-host Alyson Williams.
Thank you.
I always wanted to do that.
Yeah, it was part of. It was time for that public.
I wanted to do the ad check. I wanted to do the business, so I thought I'd take an opportunity to do the business.
Yo, one day I'm gonna step aside and give you the link, and I want y'all to rock, because let me tell you something. If y'all don't know, y'all definitely do know, because Alyson, everybody, you tease me, Al Taylor teases me, and listen, I just want everybody to know. Listen, as talented as we can be as people, sometimes the hardest thing to do is positivity. And I appreciate all the people that always say, you love the show that I have with Alyson. You love the show I have with Al. You love the show I have with Kevin and Rich and Chuck and Dr. Corder. Absolutely. And like I said, we're going to get together. I'm going to set up a date. And the hardest people that I have to set up that date for, it will be Alyson and Dr. Corder, because they are definitely out of town. And we're going to get together and have a quick meet and greet, because for those that support us and appreciate us, we're going to get together. And for those that
I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're going to do. And Irvin said, damn, this was a good look for you, Bill. Appreciate you, man. Everybody saying, LOO, that was a good one, Ali. Absolutely. I love it when her and Al do that, because it takes away from me, and I don't have to do it, because I always want them to have their flowers. And I always try to say that as we get older, I try to get more humble. For those that know, I can take it to 60, but the bottom line is I try to stay on a peace mission. Michelle said, hello, everyone. Happy you are better, Sister Williams. I used a lip sync, just call my name with a hairbrush when I thought of you when I was in love as a teenager. Thank you for being a part of my youth. Ain't that something?
Hey, let me know. You know who else did that? Mary J. Blige. You ask Mary Jane. She'll tell you. She used to sing Just Call My Name and her hairbrush in her room. And it was a whole come around 360, 180, however you want to call it, moment when I got to work with her and go on the road with her. But I know that there was somebody, just like I sang in my brush, somebody sang in their brush to me. So
because let me tell you something. If my mirror could tell a story, I've been David Ruffin. I've been Marvin Gaye. What? Let me tell you something. What? Oh my God!
You've been all the dudes. You was Marvin Gaye.
What?
What?
Let me tell you, I hold it back.
I know you did that feeling. You had sexual evil.
And listen, I always tell people when Curtis Mayfield come talk about Pushing Man and impressions and we a winner, don't talk about my past, baby.
I'm just trying to tell you.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Lincoln said Alyson would be outstanding TV personality. She needs a show. Exactly. We're gonna get a show together because she ain't gonna go without me and shit. Because I'll be running on that stage like a streaker and shit. Even
right.
if just
who is that man? How did he get on the set? Oh,
listen,
that's Bill. Okay,
listen.
Put in the contract.
Listen, and I don't even care. All she got to just say, "Yo, Bill, just introduce the acts." If all I can do or stand to do it, because
one way or the other, we're gonna be each other's Ed McMahon. We're gonna figure it out. But those of y'all don't know who Ed McMahon is, Google.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we do. Everybody, this is Real Talk. That is Alyson Williams. I am Bill Forster. Listen, please subscribe to it, share it. We have so much content. We have so many things that we're trying to do. I mean, the summer is a hard month. We get it. People want to be out. The pandemic. When we're talking about events, this Saturday, I have a brunch party with assorted flavors. We're doing a damn thing. But this pandemic is kind of scaring people. But listen, come right. But don't come. I understand. But the brunch party, listen, I can rock it. And it's good. Come out, Row House on 115th and 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue for the people that know, Frederick Douglass for the people that don't. You know, it's 1 to 8. Come out, hang out with Malika and I. We'll definitely be there in my Assorted Flavors family. Absolutely. I will, Lincoln. Irvin said, I love your platform, Bill. I appreciate that, Irvin. I appreciate all of you for supporting Alyson and myself and just anything, because Real Talk, I tell people all this, and humility is a beautiful thing, and that's from my thing from life. My parents always taught me that in martial arts, that listen, give people their flowers. And I struggle with that. And I call it a lack of loyalty sometimes when people just don't say, listen, you don't have to, a person makes it famous. You don't have to give them half of your paycheck, but all you got to do is, like you said, Mary J says, yo, when I was growing up and I was doing my thing, I used to sing Just Call My Name in the Mirror. You understand what I'm trying to say? And see, Alyson, your song, let's have real talk right now. Your song goes up there in that iconic list where everybody knows Phil Collins. Everybody may know Don't You Forget About Me. You know what I'm saying? There are certain songs that people will sing, like Sledgehammer, but everybody may know Just Call My Name. Because we were at my house one time and somebody was, leaving, and they was next thing you know, and I was like, that's Alyson Williams. And they was like, okay. And then they was like, wait a minute. Alyson Williams, Just Call My Name? And you was like, yeah. And they was like, oh, I love you. Also, now the shit get different. Now, at first you didn't want to shake my hand. Now you're kissing my ass. But you know what? It's a beautiful thing. And I think your song, you and I have talked about, listen, getting you on Cassidy. See, people, don't get it twisted. Alyson and I talk offline as we talk online. Alyson and I, we talk about visionary stuff still, because the one thing as a promoter, my event planning goes far beyond just putting a party together. It goes more iconic and things that I see for my sister that I want her to have. And her brain is moving just like mine. So we'll sit here and she'll say, yeah, I was thinking of that. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And this and that. Because listen, when we talk about legacies and stuff like that, if that will be the only, and like I talked about your album, you're going to have to tell people where they can find that album or how they can get it, Allie, because when I tell you about the work on that album, we had it all set up. I was like, yo, Allie, I got your security. We going on the road. Whatever we going to do, we going to rock out there. And
because we had a project. We had a product. Yeah. We had a product that we knew could deliver. What we didn't have was at that time, perhaps the power behind us from the record label. And it was simply this. My record label was established by a gentleman by the name of Marcus Johnson, who was not only a keyboardist, smooth jazz artist in his own right, but also a Georgetown educated attorney. And we had a conflict of interest. In order for Marcus Johnson to get his brand to where he needed it to be, he had to, really put the Marcus Johnson brand first. And
Right.
so when it came down to, and there were a few decisions that were made that weren't as, I guess, well thought out in terms of how to promote the Alyson Williams project. It was his first time around, brand new label. So we didn't get the marketing monies and the dollars and the promotion dollars that we needed. And like I said, it's survival of the fittest. It's Marcus Johnson's label. It's Marcus Johnson. So what I always say about the CD, It's About Time, which is a title, is that it is the most well-produced demo anybody has ever had. Because we just didn't get the airplay that we needed to, because that's not where the dollars were spent, if the dollars even existed, based on how they had spent them on other things. But a cautionary tale to be learned from all. I can only tell my side of the tale. I don't hold any grudge against anything, because like I said, when you listen to the music speaks for itself. If we were to go back into the studio tomorrow and wanted to zhuzh up some of those songs or reproduce them or put a little spin, a little fresher spin on it, we're talking about from 2006 to now, that music could still do just what it needs to do, because it was quality music to begin with.
I'm surprised you ain't had people come up and talk about, yo, it's because of you I'm here, Auntie.
Oh no, I get that all the time.
And
can you help me with my college scholarship? I'm just saying, kids all the time, especially with the Just Call My Name album, because that's what people were conceived on Alyson Williams. And guess what? We got some baby making music with Najee.
Oh, and listen, let me just read out some comments right now. And then I want you to talk about that Najee project, because we're not going to stay too long, because I know you got somebody in your house. And
listen, I'm going to tell you about who I'm with, but you go ahead. I'm
okay, all right. Like, shout out to everybody that's chiming in. We appreciate you. Listen, you're giving your flowers to Alyson and myself. But I always want to make this about her right now. But the thing is, like Lincoln, I'm going to try to make it happen. Thank you, Irving. He talked about, I so love your platform, Bill. I appreciate it. Mark said, Bill, I can't deny. I remember a photo she did. She was wearing a Nefertiti's type head wrap that was like black man with the bang in the front. Yeah, listen. Stop playing. That's what it's all about, yo. Listen, the memories. Lisa, shout out to Lisa Clark, my sister in the building. She said, Bill, keep doing what you're doing. We need you and your real energy. I appreciate that. Thank you. My niece, Dana Richardson. She said, my dad, Silk. Shout out to the legendary RIP Silk, the promoter. She said, he survived to Just Call My Name for sure. Listen, let me tell you something. That was a perfect date song. You start singing Just Call My Name. Yes. Even if that was the first date or the last date, you could reach over and just sing, just call whenever time, whatever, when you need, just get the fuck out, but call my name.
People used to tell me, if I had Just Call My Name on my mixtape, I knew I was going to get lucky. That's what the dudes was telling me on the college campus.
Listen.
If I had Just Call My Name on my mixtape, I knew it was going to be a good night for me. And then the girls had their own version of it, how it got them through this and how I just love the song and what have you. So I'm appreciative of the fact that song is a song that is, connected to me as my signature song, because it is what it is.
And let me tell you something, and I'm taking from an old face man, everybody out there. Listen, it can get you to hold a hand on the first date, and even when you break up, you can tell somebody to get out the life. But just if you need me, call my name. You know what I'm saying? It can get you back in the game. So listen, shout out to everybody. Michelle, shout out to Michelle Ivory in the building, Joan. She saw songs that came from the soul, absolutely. And then, like I tell you, people, please, whenever Alyson is in your time, she's for hire. She sings. She'll host. Listen, reach out. Let's support that sister, because the bottom line is, I need my sister to keep working. I need her to tell me, yo, listen. Oh, I need to say, yo, listen. You free for the third Monday? And she was like, yeah, okay, I can make it happen. Because the bottom line is, I know that she tries, as busy as her schedule is getting again. I know she tries as hard as she can to allot some time for real talk, even if it's just an hour. I appreciate you so much for that.
This is what we do, Bill. This is what we've been doing. I'm not at home right now. You mentioned a minute ago somebody's in my house. I'm not at home. Wherever I can make real talk happen, I will make real talk happen. I am in Washington, D.C., about to depart for Detroit, and I am at the home of my nephew. Now, I want to just say hey to my nephew. I haven't put his face in the camera. As you know, we have a long family connection with Sugar Bar and Colin and all those people. And Andre Smith was part of that. Andre was the original host of the Sugar Bar.
Yes, I remember Andre. He's living around the corner from me.
Right.
He's living around the corner from me.
Right,
Andre.
exactly.
Yes.
I was on the same up the street. So he has a nephew named Joseph Bullock, for those who know, who lives down here in D.C. where Andre was from, this area. And you know, he always comes in when I need somebody to help me. You know, just come. I'm coming to town. I'm performing, and I need somebody to help to assist me. You know, and he's playing everything from assistant to security to valet to wardrobe. Can you zip me up? All of that. He's doing all of that. And Andre told me, you know, when I'm out of here. And Andre had a very unique experience. Andre was ill, and I think that people, when they're ill and they know that their time is limited, they get to do things and say things that other people who don't know get to do. And he knew, and he was making sure that everybody could be okay. And he wanted me to take care of JoJo, and he wanted JoJo to stay close to me. This week in particular was a week that I called him where I had been left in a lurch by another person who, for whatever reason I still don't know, wasn't able to fulfill the obligation that we had agreed upon. So I came into DC needing help with the gig that I came in for, and then the next day with the boat trip and the whole bit. And JoJo was there. Come here, JoJo. Sit right here.
Come on, JoJo. JoJo, come in here.
When I stepped out the whole, there's JoJo. I know he looks like my new younger boyfriend.
What's up, family? How are you, brother?
I'm good.
That's Andre Smith's nephew, JoJo Bullock. Shout out to the Bullock family. And
shout out to the
you,
Bullock
baby.
family.
You're welcome.
He has done nothing but just be there for me and make it happen. And not only do it, but learn it. You know what I mean? He wants to learn. He's interested in my history. He's interested in why things need to be done this way and not that way, and how can I do it better. And I appreciate that from him. So
and I don't know if they're related. That Bullock name goes long, but like I said, I'm gonna make sure you and Reggie talk.
Right, Reggie Bullock. I was thinking that too. Right, we was over here. Where's Reggie from?
Reggie is originally from. Is he from the city? Reggie's from there, but now Reggie lives in Atlanta. I think Reggie lives in Atlanta now. But we got to find out. Where these
I tell you what,
from.
we gotta connect, because by the weekend I'll be in Atlanta, so we gotta now make sure we connect.
It's done. I'll send you on the group text. The group text.
For those who will be in Atlanta City Winery, the 22nd, is that a Sunday? The 22nd of May?
Yes, it is a Sunday.
With Marcus Johnson. Might be a little show up. You might want to get your tickets, y'all.
Yeah, tell them that.
I know I'm gonna be there. We're gonna get it popping. So
shout out to Tina King in the building. Shout out to Eddie Vieira. Remember, we spent a lot of times hanging out. Eddie Vieira said he's on YouTube. He said the beautiful thing was that I felt her enormous artistic energy without knowing why. She really was. God bless you, Alyson. Shout out to Eddie Vieira, my brother. Listen, everybody. Listen, like Michelle said, songs came from the soul. Everybody, that's Alyson Williams. I'm Bill Forster. We got some stuff. Alyson, I don't want to morbid the energy real quick, but maybe we just can say some kind words for the people in Buffalo, some prayers.
Well, now I want to stop you right there. I've been running breakneck since Thursday. Friday, it's all been a blur. I haven't been in front of live news, and so I am remiss. I don't know what's going on. You must fill me in.
Okay, so yeah, this is the part where my journalism aspect comes in, where there was a mass shooting in Buffalo, where I'm glad they are calling it a hate crime. A white supremacist, a white man, travels from wherever he was traveling from and goes all the way up to Buffalo, New York, and says he's only killing black people. And he shot, like, I think about 12 black people in a supermarket.
Okay, let me be clear. This happened on what day?
People help me out with this. Did it happen?
Today is Monday. What day did that
I
happen?
think it might be maybe Saturday. Saturday or
Okay, so
yeah.
Saturday was my travel day. Saturday was the day I left New York, got
Yeah.
on the train, came
Yes.
in here, got ready,
Yeah.
did my get. I haven't seen news at all. I
Exactly.
don't know about this. This
Yeah.
person traveled from where to?
Somebody help me out. Hold on, Malika.
May 14th,
Yeah.
there was a shooting in Buffalo, New York.
There it is.
Police market store,
Okay.
a supermarket in the King neighborhood on
Yeah.
the eastern side of the city.
Okay, so
10
he went to
people were
Buffalo.
killed.
10 people were killed,
3 other were injured.
and 3 other were injured,
We were talking about the shooting. Yeah.
and 11 of the victims were black.
This was
Like he said, he traveled.
Jojo was reading it from Google.
Good,
We
glad.
had no idea this was going on because we were trying to get Alyson Williams up on a stage.
No,
So
that's all right, because the bottom line is I knew today I was going to concentrate, and I was torn because if I knew you wasn't going to be here, I would have went solo.
No, but you know, we can talk about the celebrations and the what have you, but we need to talk about the real issues of the world as well, because Alyson Williams is a part of that too, and speak into those families that lost or lost loved ones or were impacted by this. I had no idea this was going on, and so my heart.
And then there was another shooting in California too, another mass shooting. And like I said, everybody tune in like Wednesday. I'm going in with it, because the bottom line is there are some people out there, and I read a statement from a friend of mine, and I won't say his name because I mean it's not unless I bring him on, but he said something in regard to, I'm paraphrasing, about we're angry for a moment because of this situation, because it was a white person killing us, but we're not angry when people of color commit crime, black on black crime or Latin on Latin crime. And I had kind of told a friend of mine, I said, really, sometimes people need to know to stay in their lane, because if you think about this whole situation in its entirety, the bottom line is people of color are mad when people of color kill blacks and brown people. We sure are. But there is some kind of modus operandi with it. As senseless and stupid as it is, street beef, whatever it is, of course, we're tired of it. We understand the media portrays this more because it's good to see people of color kill each other. With that being said, this situation where people were senseless, people minding their business, shopping, thinking about what they were going to do later when they got home, and a person goes there and travels like what would y'all say, 4 hours. Thank you, Stefan. He traveled 4 hours and he left a 180-page manifesto. And thank you, Princetta. 11 blacks and 2 whites. And the bottom line is he went to shoot a white person and realized it was a white person, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry." So we had to understand what this situation is all about. And now here we are still begging Attorney Crump is trying to get this bill passed about a hate crime. I don't care what anybody's feeling is about gun laws and stuff like that. And then Alyson, I'm gonna let you comment on this, and then I want to get your little take on Roe versus Wade, where they're trying to take the laws of women having abortions away from their own personal things, and then we can slide out of here and keep it lovely, because I want you to enjoy the thing. And I know next time you're in DC, I'm gonna make sure I hook you in Maryland up. I think you got a number anyway too. Dr. Maryland to us, Dr. Corder to the people.
Dr. Corder to the people, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're gonna make sure we have you and her, because what I want to do a lot of times is intertwine the hosts and we can discuss certain topics, because sometimes we can be our own panelists and our own discussion. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. And Alyson, who are you?
I'm your co-host, Alyson Williams, with my host, Bill Foster.
There you go, everybody. Exactly. And so Reggie Bullock said, yeah, and many were elderly. Absolutely. Michelle Ivory said, white supremacists are blaming POC for wiping themselves out. There are too many mixed races now, and they are scared to death of no longer being superior. And that was the whole thing that he said in his manifest in manifesto and stuff like that. And she said, Stefani said, I can't even watch the video. I know I sent it to you as well. I know you did. It's very disturbing. Alyson, sometimes I try not to bombard you with a lot of that stuff, unless it's something that we're definitely going to talk about. I know your nephew will bring you up to speed on it when we get off. Lincoln said, and when such acts take place, others duplicate. Be aware. Absolutely.
That's what I was about to say. It opens the door for so many people to copycat. And this is incredible. I mean, for no other reason than I have a desire to kill someone who's of a different race. I traveled from point A to point B and tried to carry it out. Where are we? Yeah. What is this?
Very sad. It's a very sad state of affairs. And what's so disheartening, and like I said, I'll really get into it. Please, people, chime in Wednesday, because I'm going to get in, because let me tell you something. I get fact checked all the time by social media. I put up a post about something that somebody put a face up with John Lennon, and it said about happiness was this, happiness, whatever was that. All of a sudden, a few hours later, it gets taken down, and I get sent a thing saying, listen, we fact checked you, and there's no proof that John Lennon ever said that. I was like, really? But this man went on social media and stated that what he was going to do, how he was going to do it, and you don't get him. And he goes, then he videotapes, he live streams. Alyson, he live streams.
All you said was somebody said it was time to be happy. Let's all smile and hug each other, and you get taken down. But the man who says this is what I'm going to do because I think I need to do this because and we don't go after him. We don't go after him. And he says what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, and it's at the end game is killing people.
Absolutely. The shit it drove me and it drives me up a wall. I get flagged if I put up a positive, and it was a positive affirmation post. It wasn't about slap a hoe, kick a person down some steps. It wasn't like, do something. Listen,
Bill, they got a whole stamp out. They gave a forever stamp in the name of Dr. Maya Angelou, and whatever the quote is that's on the stamp wasn't really what she said. But nobody really, I guess they didn't check it or didn't whatever, but it's still a positive thing. And they went on and gave her a stamp. And we're glad that there's a Maya Angelou stamp or whatever. But the exact thing that they said wasn't what it was. And I know from the inside. So why are they messing with you? And then this guy not only slips under the radar, but carries out his diabolical, heinous crime.
Yeah. Listen, I think, like you said, in your travels or when you with nephew later on, if over drinks or dinner, you start Googling and you'll see what the media and the news.
He's doing it right now.
Look, and they even asked law enforcement. They said, "Well, if this was already out in the universe, why didn't you pick this up and detect this?" Because let me tell you something. Last week, Wednesday, and this is why I tell everybody, you might have to really start shifting to YouTube for me. I appreciate the Facebook love because I know it's easier, but you might have to start YouTubing for my co-host and I, is because the bottom line is before the show or during the show, they tried to freeze me up on something. They said some content I said. So I'm like, listen, that just means right now I'm getting hot. We're getting hot. You know what I'm saying, Ellie? We're getting hot. Because you're watching me. Instead of saying, Bill, we'll pour some money into your ass, you know what I'm saying, and your team, you're really picking on me. So now
all that's going to turn around. Bill, before we go, and because I want to end, I know you wanted to ask me about the Roe versus Wade. I'll make it very quick and simple. I believe that women deserve to have a choice.
Absolutely.
And I believe that because I had the choices.
Absolutely.
At a different point in time, when I was younger and in my life, there were times when I found myself in a way, and I was pregnant, and I had to figure out what to do.
Absolutely, it changes careers. It changes.
Listen, my girlfriends and I, who are closest and came up together, we laugh about it, but we like, if it weren't for being able to have the choice of being able to have an abortion or not, we don't know where we might have been.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we were being young and being reckless and doing what you do in your 20s and stuff like that, That was your birth control. Sometimes
Yeah.
we laugh about it, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
but at the end of the day, that is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it.
No.
Did what I made the decision, but I think everybody should have the right to make that decision. And as long as the law has been in place, what the hell are y'all going back? Why are y'all backpedaling now? Why are y'all backpedaling on the right to vote? Why are y'all backpedaling on the right to procreate? Why are you back? What is the why?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I don't understand. I'm like, what? When I hear things and I know that it's time for me to stand up and listen, come out of my artist place and come into the reality of being just a general John P. Public.
Exactly.
P. Public and be
Yeah.
involved and understand what's going on the forefront of political issues and social issues and and be active. And I'm going, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why are we backpedaling on this? I
Absolutely.
thought it was already settled. And who said it wasn't? And who's to say what it's going to be? That's what I keep trying to figure out. When we have things that are absolutely needing to be dealt with, like the gun violence, like the person who can travel to Buffalo and kill up a bunch of people, all of that needs to be put in place and taken care of right now. Y'all going back to something that's been in place for 50 years or more.
Don't make sense.
Just figured out that hanging, that lynching was a hate crime. Y'all just put that down in the books. What did you think it was the whole time you was lynching?
Exactly.
That's the thing that upsets me. I'm like,
yeah, and we need to, and exactly, because the bottom line is there are people who, God forbid, and listen, we are some loving individuals, and the bottom line is we love all, and this is no disrespect to all our white friends, our Asian friends, our Latin friends. Well, Latin's a family to me. I listen. I judge a person by how they treat me, not from the blood that goes through their veins, because your blood goes through the veins is the same as mine. And I say this with all sincerity and real talk. I'm O negative. There's only 6% of the world that are O negative, and that's me. So let me tell you something. These blood centers and stuff call me all the time, and they tell me that I give blood to sickle cell, leukemia. I give blood to a woman that was in a car crash all the time. They call. I tell them all the time when they call me. I said, you call me more than my wife. So I get it. And I feel an obligation to give my blood, because if I can give this, if this is the littlest thing I can give, that is a God-given talent.
That is the greatest thing that you can do.
Exactly.
The smallest thing that you could do is the greatest thing that you can do, just because of how God manifested you into this world. He gave you O negative blood, which is the universal blood.
Absolutely. So I just want to read some comments, and I'm gonna let you close us out on some real love. I want you to talk about the 9G project. I want you to talk about where you're gonna be and stuff like that. And then, everybody, listen. One day we're gonna get to all the panel again. We did it one time, but like I said, Alyson knows. I know she's busy, and I love that she's busy. So that means she's not available sometimes, but sometimes we got to bring her in on a Wednesday so she can give her a different perspective. Everybody, the one thing that I've always told you all, that you're always welcome to join a panel or discussion. A lot of times, whenever we discuss it, all you got to do is text me or text Alyson or text somebody and say, yo, I want to join this conversation. And you come, as long as you ain't saying nothing silly and crazy, because the bottom line is then you're just exposing yourself. We appreciate opinions, but we just want some real thought-provocative stuff. And Alyson's going to leave us with some positive affirmation, the 9G project, and where you can see her and hear from her before. But I just want to read some comments before we get out of here, because we will end this on a positive note. Tune in Wednesday. I'm going in. Real talk. Hold on. Lincoln, Mark said the person is the problem. These people want to kill us. Grandmothers, aunts, etc. They were defenseless. The off-duty officer tried to take him out. I wish he would have aimed at it for his legs. Absolutely. I'm going to say that too. I haven't seen any of these police groups, anybody talking about officers, because you know how they just, rest in peace to the officer, the hero. I don't see anybody talking about this officer, this black man that was an officer that was now a security guard, and he lost his life trying to save other people's lives. Not too many people bragging about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Mark also said, he said, what did we as black people do to these people? What did our ancestors do? It's absolutely crazy. They want to get rid of us. Please, y'all, get your power permit. Your power permits. Absolutely. I co-sign anybody. Get your guns. Michelle said, my thing is, dude was reported by his school for threatening to shoot up the school, and he was still allowed to legally purchase the gun and ammunition and armor. So that would mean that the good old boys ignored the clue. They should be investigated. Lincoln said, great show. Looking forward to future shows. We need this. Thank you, Lincoln. I appreciate you so much. Vera said, white males are losing control. Shout out to Vera in the building. Michelle said, they did the abortion ban because their white women or girls are getting it more than they like. However, they didn't consider the fact that it would affect all the white women of all races. So more POC born, still outnumbering them. So now they want to assist the killing, assist with the killing off as many as possible. Is given the chance. GOP is helping with that. Everybody, I employ all of you to chime in Wednesday. We're going to talk about.
It's going down on Wednesday, y'all.
It's going because sometimes, yeah, Ali, you know, you're right. Because sometimes people need to say, and that's why people always say, "Yo, Bill, you're going to run for politics. You're going to run." No, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to say the things I say, and I want to be able to say that. And I'm going. Alyson, you, myself, and any other co-host, I hold us true and hold me true to task of real talk. We got to talk about what's true and real. Listen, we talk facts. We don't talk fiction. We don't talk make-believe. We don't talk what ifs and what could have bees. We talk about real shit, real talk. That's the problem. What's happening in this world today. So Stefani said the racialized white people are shaking in their boots. Exactly. Alyson, so I do want to leave us on a positive note. Listen, because this was about you and the celebration of life. And I was so happy. I wish we could do it damn near once a week because it was just a phenomenal evening. Damn, I had such a good time. It was just good.
I can't wait till we get to talk, like off screen, and we can really go through it. I want to say, first of all, Lincoln, when we were doing, we tried to put a little, I guess, test pattern together for what could lead to an actual television talk show format situation. And we need to keep looking into that, Lincoln, because, Bill and I are ready, and we could now go from the test pilot the test pattern to the pilot to the actual. We already got the podcast, so we could go to getting the green light. So let's do that. I cannot believe that with what you gave me as my not being involved with a news program for the last couple of days. You're telling me what's going on with this shooting situation, and now you're telling me it gets worse, that there is an officer that was black that lost his life in this too. So now, it's like I said, for me, it just gets worse. I am going to go as we close out and find out what I've missed over the last few days, not looking at real-time news. But thank you, Bill, because I know that we are going to discuss it at length on Wednesday. I know what happens when Tuesday is open for discussion, and it's a lot of different things. It's eclectic, it's beautiful. We touch on the good, the bad, the ugly, the dark, the light, everything. But on Wednesday, it's business.
Yeah, it's business. It's straight business.
It's business.
Fire.
And so, I implore everyone to please chime in and be a part of the business end of what Real Talk Chronicles is about. I also wanted to say thank you for celebrating my birthday. We do have new music with myself and Mr. Najee, Grammy Award-winning saxophonist Najee, released a new CD on this Friday, past the 13th of May, called Savoir Faire. The first single from Savoir Faire was Dr. Doolittle, a song called Dr. Doolittle. And now they're pressing a single called Bounce. So I want you to please go and check that music out. But what you will find on that CD is a song where I am featured, and it's called Valentine Love. And if any of you all are old enough to know, when Norman Connors put out Mr. Michael Henderson and Gene Conn, and they said, I'm sending you this Valentine in the hopes that you're still mine. I want you to go and listen to our newly imagined version of Valentine Love on the CD Savoir Faire by the incomparable Najee. It is available on all digital music platforms, and we want you to go out and pick it up, stream it, do what it is you do to consume your music, and support us, because we're trying to come to you really fast, really quick in the city near you, and bring you this music. And we can't do it if you don't create the buzz. You create the buzz by supporting the music, purchasing the music. That's how you do it. So please
show some love. Show some love.
Show
Alyson,
some love.
people where you gonna be at in case they can want to see you. Listen, I damn near, I don't beg anybody to do anything, but damn near I might order you, but please, if you want to hear a good show, find out where you can reach Alyson. Alyson, Malika and I, we're gonna talk about some other stuff too in the South, in this place called South in PA and Philadelphia. Listen, you need to come in. Yeah, tell her, right? She needs to come to South, right? Listen, I mean,
I've been talking to Gerald for the longest. We gotta figure it out.
We was with Gerald. We was just talking to him.
I'm just saying. So what I gotta say to him? We've been trying to figure it out.
We got you. I have his wife's number.
We have his wife's number.
I've done South. I did South not as an artist, but I did South. Well, I'm always an artist. What are we saying? Okay, I did South as a special guest with Kirk Whalum. Kirk came to South. I went to South. Kirk called me up. It was a rousing success. We just have to figure out how to bring Alyson Williams in.
We on it. We working on that.
When I went to visit with Gregory and Najee at the Berks Festival, the late night jam is curated by Gerald. Yeah. Gerald puts that whole thing together. Gerald know what I do.
We're there.
Well, listen. We got Gerald.
Y'all need to do this Alyson Williams campaign with Gerald.
We're on it. I'm telling
you. I'm gonna press him now. I'm gonna hit him with some Harlem shit. Like I might get my DMX on.
How you ain't call my girl? Oh yeah. Hit him up.
Hit him up.
Oh God.
Alyson, give us some positive affirmation before we get out of here.
I think the best thing that I came off of the boat with is that without rain, we can't have rainbows. Right. And God put a rainbow in the cloud.
Yes.
Google that. You'll find me singing it. You'll find Dr. Angel. You'll find all kinds of love and light and peace and blessings and miracles and music. And above all, you'll find joy. Thank you so much. Until the next time I'm with you, Bill. Absolutely. On the Real Talk Chronicles. And Malika, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'll see you. And thank you so much for honoring me today, helping me to celebrate, continue my birthday celebration till the 31st, because that's how Taurians do it. Thank you, everybody. If you're listening to me this weekend, coming up on the 22nd, I'll be with Marcus Johnson at the Atlanta City Winery, doing my thing and doing my thing with him. And keep your eyes open for the month of June. We got dates coming up, and we'll fill you in on what they are. We love you.
Everybody, that's Alyson Williams. That's Malika Foster. And I am Bill Foster. And we are out. Real talk. There you go. Hit him, Allie. Hit him. Go ahead, Malika. Do your floors. Everybody see Malika doing
That's what made me do mine, because I was watching Malika. We was back there right there.
Oh, my God. I love to see her doing floors. Good night, everybody. Allie, hold on for a second. We're going to the green room.